Hey everyone, this is Quentin from Conjurecast, back with another quick video. Last time I said that I would post a part 2 on how I created my Possessed Scarecrow's cool stat block graphic, and today I am making that video to show you how you can also do so. I made that stat block graphic using what you see in front of you. This is a web app called Homebrew, and it allows you to use markdown text editing to build these awesome, cool, graphical stat blocks and pages and kind of mimic the look of the Wizards of the Coast publishing for the DMG and the Player Handbook and the Bestiary. So to get started, you make an account and you log in and you create they call it a brew. And when you create this brew, you start with a blank document. However, their homepage has basically a document that shows you how to use their flavor of Markdown and what their Markdown does. So a lot of Markdown in this web app does the same thing that it would do normally. It's just styled towards their specific art style. For instance, we can go in here into our text editor. For those of you watching this video, you're going to see the 2 pages on the top and the bottom, but just know that in real life, on the left is the text editor and on the right is the preview window for your Markdown. I have it stacked vertically for short form content, so just keep that in mind. So if I go here to the left side and enter some text into the text editor, so I just type Possessed Scarecrow, you can see we get some text here on the right side, but that's just the normal text. It doesn't really do anything. And so what we can do is, if we go to the left side here, we can actually add a pound symbol or hashtag and a space, and then that will actually change it into a title. And we can continue to add those pound symbols on the left here to get different sizes of titles until eventually we are out. So you can get a bunch of different styles, and you can reference the actual DMG and stuff to kind of get the feel for which title you're supposed to use where, or look at some examples from different adventures and whatnot. You have code breaks. You can format like that. If you do an interspace here and then you type your text inside of it, you get this cool little graphic. Essentially, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in normal Markdown that you can also do here. Then it works the exact same way. Like if I type Scarecrow again, and on the beginning, if I do 2 asterisks and 2 asterisks, you end up getting a bolded text. You can do the same thing with 1 less asterisk, and that gives you italicized. You can do a list, and it will snap together a list. We can do an unordered list, and you will get some dots. Same thing with links and images. You can type in this here, and you would put your title here for the image, and then this would be like the link to your image. There are tables. There basically anything that you can do in Markdown, you can do in Homebrew, and it will look a little bit different maybe, but it all stands to be the same. You can check out their main page examples if there's something specific you want to copy. The thing I use most of the time is the actual text editor tools, the image tools, all these pre-made assets that you get to fill out yourself. So you can do just about everything with these tools that you could see in one of the DMG books. So you can submit a column break, and that will let you split your page, which is very common. You'll see a lot, basically all of the Wizards of the Coast D&D books are written in this format where you have a column and a column. Very rarely do you see a full spread taken up on a page. You can, of course, create a new page, which will show down here. You can give those page numbers, so we can auto increment, and we would need to move this up in order for that to start. So you see now we have page 1. So you would have to paste this at the bottom of your page, but you wouldn't have to keep track of what pages what in order for that to work. You can add footers. You can change your vertical and horizontal spacing. You can add a wide block. You do want something that spans the top. So say for instance, you had a column break here, but then you needed a wide block. You see, you can still have a column break and have something that spans the top. You can add a QR code. You can link to a page if you want to. So a lot of the time you can deliver these in PDF format, and those hyperlinks can still work as long as you haven't flattened your document. You can add comments if it's something you're working on with other people, or you want to leave yourself a note, and then that stuff won't show up on the right side. They have a Homebrew credit already built in. You can add a table of contents. This is in beta. I assume it is to help automatically create a table of contents. I have not messed around with that yet. And you can create an index, which is also in beta at the moment. Images are really cool. You can add a simple image just by clicking that first option. You can have your image wrap text on the left or right side. You can add a background image, add a watercolor splatter, watercolor center image. You can also add watercolors on the top, right, bottom, left, and the corners. Or you can add a watermark with whatever text you want. These are really cool because inside of the screen bracket, you can actually use CSS to change how they appear. So if we add another comma here and add a height, we can do like a crazy height. When it doesn't go green, it means you've broken something, by the way. Oh yeah, you cannot put any spaces. It's all no spaces. So yeah, you can edit the CSS like that. I think most CSS works. I'm not 100% on that. I haven't tested everything, but a lot of the basic CSS options work. So like width, height, padding, margin. I'm pretty sure everything is set to absolute. So yeah, those are your images. They're pretty cool. Get a lot of use out of those. We have tables. Tables can be typed out like this, or you can auto-generate them. They have pretty much any table you would ever need. Martial classes, full caster table, pretty much everything you would need is pre-made. You can have runes if you want to come up with a custom language. You have different fonts. I haven't used a whole lot of different fonts. I like the font I normally use, but they exist. If you want to insert them, you can add custom text outside of the default font. And then here's the big thing. You have the player handbook tab. This is where all of your important things are, like your spell or your spell list, your class feature. This is all of your Lego blocks. You can add a quote or a note or a descriptive text block box. You can add a front cover page, back cover page. You can add a magic item, an artist credit if you need. And the big thing that I used was the monster stat block. There are 3 options. So you have the normal tall monster stat block, which most of you are probably used to seeing. You have a wide monster stat block. And then the one I ended up using for my video is the unframed monster stat block. So to recreate what we made in that video, essentially I used a monster stat block. I went to the text editor and added a column break. And then on the other side of the column, I added a image. And then I added a custom image. I did make some edits where I didn't think it was close enough. And so I did do a watercolor right. We can change the offset so that the watercolor does not cut into the text. You can change the rotation of the watercolor effect. So that's what the purple does, is that you edit the actual watercolor effect, and then the green is where you edit the image. I believe I did left. Yeah, so you can change your image's spacing. That way you end up with your image in the spot you want it to be. That's how I create my custom graphics when making monsters or NPCs, magic items, is I typically use the Homebrew, but I also do a lot of programming. And so this comes pretty naturally to me. You also have a style editor, so you can actually just put raw CSS in here, because if you go here, you can actually use HTML, and you can give your HTML a class. And if you go to the style editor, you can then target your class like normal CSS, and you can edit it. There we go. So I can change the text color to purple. Some CSS works, some CSS doesn't. You'll have to test yourself to see what you can get away with here, but essentially it is another way in which you can style and move elements. You also have the snippet. I have not experimented a whole lot with this, but essentially you can create your own pre-made things in order to use them at will in your brew editor. There is another resource. So this next tool that we're going to talk about is called critter.db or critterdb.com. I just learned about it the other day from a comment from one of you viewers, and I do not know a whole bunch about it because I have not personally used it before, but I did want to show it off because it can help making the process of your custom creatures and NPCs a little bit easier. It does use the 5th edition rules from the DMG, so that's great. So it'll basically, anything we covered in the last video will apply here, because I assume it is just the same rules, but written programmatically for your ease of use. You can actually go and check out some bestiary examples. And then once you're signed in, you can check out your critters, open, and you can create a creature. This kind of goes through the same steps that we talked about, although I'll be probably in a much better order in order to create these creatures. It also looks like it has a calculate challenge rating feature, which is what we did. I referred to as step 4 in the DMG, which we did not cover. So this looks like it automates that process for you, which is great. So if you're looking for an easier method to create a custom creature, you want something that maybe holds your hand a little bit more, which is always a nice thing, I would check out critterdb.com for assistance with that. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'll try to keep these kind of videos coming. Maybe next time we'll do custom NPCs or backgrounds, something along those lines. If there's something specific you would like to see, leave a comment down below, and I will do my best to fulfill those requests.